to everybody. How you doing?
That's a mouthful. That's a lot to take in this early in the day.
Bless you.
Good. How are you doing?
I'm knackered. Actually, I've had my grandson for the day because it's Friday, So, yeah, it's been fun.
I get it.
Okay, so who have we got here all together? We got Miss Annie from our Urban Homestead and Kitchen. Hello, my darling. Smurfy, hello, Helen. How you doing, darling? We got that really shady fella from Kettle Kitchen. He's in.
Oh, sorry.
Rebecca, the Suburban Hillbilly, she's here. Hello, darling. Teresa Jukiewicz, she's here.
TJ!
Hey! Welcome, 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 all of you. Aww. Look at this.
Aww, that's cool.
We love you too!
Well, I remember, I can say years ago now because I've been doing YouTube for a while, so now I can say years ago. Not that that's a major amount of years ago, but Mr. Seeker just pop it in.
He did. Hello, Mr. Seeker. How you doing?
I remember Teresa Juki, first couple times I seen her, I think it was on Mr. Boots and Bounty. And I always thought, that's kind of a shady looking icon she has. She just sits there in the hat and just but she's a wonderful person, and now I know her. And yes.
I think she's awesome.
I'll shut up now. Your show, not mine.
Go ahead, mate. My voice is just tanking.
Okay, then. So we're gonna talk about the tea on the coffee cup today. That's the topic.
It's me. My husband just bought me the hat, and we were at a horse race. Do you know what? He said you look shady. Do you know what I thought? I thought that woman's at Ascot. I thought she was actually. I did actually think you were at a horse race in that picture.
Seeker was attacked by a duck. You know, the medical bills rake up. I wonder if he's gotten the bill yet. Sorry,
I'm sure he'll just wing it.
Sorry, Seeker. We do care about you.
We do. We love you, mate. Just take it easy, all right? If anyone was going to get attacked by a duck, it's got to be you.
Yeah, because... So today and for the next 5 months, we shall be discussing on this particular part of our practical budgeting lives on the road to zero waste. We're going to be discussing different types of food waste. Okay. Today we're going to be, sorry, I'm just... You Suburban Hillbilly, you all quack me up. Anyway.
It can't be that desperate at this point that you got to chase the ducks for their bread.
That's what I was thinking. Why were you hoping for bread? Really?
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, I'll answer a question while you sippy on your coffee. That stands for Tony the Turd. Oh.
Okay.
Anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh no. So, over the next 5 months...
Can we do this? We're going to start this all over again. Didn't we already
start this all over again? Over the next 5 months, on the Road to Zero Waste part of our monthly rotation, we're going to be discussing different types of food waste and what you can do to lessen that. Okay? Yes. So today we're going to be discussing vegetables and fruit waste. Next month, we're going to be discussing meat waste. The next month, we're going to be doing dairy. The next month's going to be bread. And the month after, it's everything else.
You totally kiboshed that list, but go ahead. You got the elements correct, but that's all that matters. It'll be in that order some way, somehow, but it will be those subject matters. Yes.
And next month will definitely be the meat waste.
Yes. We'll agree on that.
Yes. Whether the other two are in a different order or not,
Now, who cares?
Who cares?
You're going to get the info, so it don't matter.
You'll get the information. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, basically, the reason that we're doing this, okay, is that in 2023, here in the UK, the food waste was estimated at 9.5 million tonnes at a cost of approximately £14 billion. That is 1/3 of all the food here that is produced, manufactured, or imported. And quite frankly, while there's a cost of living crisis going on, with 1/3 of the population in poverty and 15% of them in destitution, I find that downright criminal. That's my opinion. But I find that criminal.
Oh wait, because America beats you by far.
Oh, you probably will, but you're a much bigger country. I mean, we're the size of Canada's toe. Do you know what I mean?
That's funny. Would you like to hear how wonderful the U.S. has done?
Let's hear what you got.
So, last year, in the United States, people wasted, I want to see your face when I say this, 80 million tons of food. Jesus. That equates to 149 million meals at the cost of $444 billion, which equates to 38% of the total food in the United States of America.
I'm sorry, I just feel a little bit sick in my mouth. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because it actually makes me feel sick to my stomach.
So what? Hello. Oh, I thought he was waving at me.
Patty went past you.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I was like, hi, Seeker. Oh, he said Mrs. Tony. Seeker says, hi, Mrs. Tony. He's listening to an audiobook. She didn't hear me.
It's all right.
Anyway, so what Suburban Hillbilly is saying it's 40%, almost 40%. And really, when you look at it, basically 40% of what is created, made, manufactured, processed, whatever in the United States related to food is dumpstered.
Yeah, that's it disgusts me in ways that I can't even explain.
Yeah.
You know, we all keep going on and on about, oh, we need to look after our own. We need to look after our own. Well, how about actually looking after them? How about not chucking that stuff in the dumpster? How about making some meals with what you've got? It sickens me to my absolute core. I mean, we have supermarkets and government here telling farmers to basically plow their crops back into the field because they're not fit for the supermarket. And I'm like, why is there not a clause for that food to go to people who need it? Why is there a clause that those farmers can't sell it?
Well, it's because you have policies in place that force that to happen,
Yeah, but
unfortunately.
that's wrong. To me, that's very, very wrong.
It
There's
is.
food there. There is food there, and it's being destroyed and thrown away.
Right.
And it really does make me feel sick to my stomach, and I feel I'm trying really hard here. Not
So,
to
okay. So you ready for this statistic?
go on then.
Actually, if you could share the screen, that would be wonderful because then it's easier to look at that way.
Okay. Yep.
I got to put it up. It was like, you can't share my screen. I got to
I
do it.
can't share anything of yours unless you give it to me to share.
Okay. There. Hey. There you go.
There we go.
Globally, 1/3 of the world's food is wasted. 1.3 billion tons, 1 trillion US dollars. And just because it's based off the dollar, that's why. Breaking it down to the percentage. So I thought you'd just like to see that little tidbit of info.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
It really is ridiculous. And while there are people out there starving, they really shouldn't be.
Okay.
But I do agree with Seeker, we can't. But surely much of the food waste in the US comes from the size of the huge portions that are served when peeps eat out. Not necessarily.
But I will give to him. Here's one of the differences, at least to my opinion. I could be wrong. Yeah. You can verify from the other side. Okay. As everything's smaller in the UK, and I'm not being a smarty pants here, I'm being honest. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are smaller everything. We are bigger everything. The problem I know we have is a lot of people here will fill their plate up and only eat half of it.
Yeah.
So to some degree, he is correct.
Yeah.
And now you have the regular size, the medium size, the large size, the extra large size, the extra. I need more carbohydrates in my body and I can't get enough of them size.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to some degree, I would agree with what he said.
See, also, you're large. Okay, let's for example say that there's some McDonald's, right? Okay. Right. Your small Coke or soft drink at McDonald's there is the size of our large.
That's the point I'm saying, is because we would then have to, even though it's your large, most people aren't drinking the smalls. They're going for the extra large and the larges, which is how many times the size of your guys' large?
Yeah.
So
it's like, I just don't get it. I mean, like, if there is that much food to go around, why are people starving?
Because the policies are not put in place that actually articulate.
What gets me is that you even have cities over there that are citing and fining people who are feeding the hungry.
Yeah. You have a government that is paying.
What?
You have a government here in the United States that pays farms not to grow food in a year. You have government over here that is burning and destroying fields because they're producing way too much product.
That's what they're trying to do over here.
And this is not a political conversation. That's just that is dumb conversation.
Yeah. There is a reason that the farmers are going on strike over here. There is a reason that the whole of Europe, all of the farmers through Europe, the UK, Ireland, all of them are literally on doing what they're doing right now, on these mass protests.
Right.
You know, because they're being told by the government not to put in crops.
Right. And he just put a statistic up for Australia.
Well, Australia wastes 7.6 million tonnes of food each year, costing households 19.3 billion Australian dollars.
Okay. And again, I'm not, this is not a political conversation, but I have another thing for you to show. Got to give permission every time I want to show you something.
Oh, okay. There you go.
As much as many of us try to say we're eco-friendly, we actually are part of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, like it or don't like it, agree with it or don't agree with it, that isn't the point behind it. It's that it affects so much more than people not getting food. You're affecting the climate. You're affecting the environment. You're affecting so many other things. And it's as simple as only take what you are going to eat. Really. Yes. I mean, that in itself makes a huge difference. It goes back
to what we discussed about food planning.
Right.
About food prepping, about planning your meals, doing all of that so that you know what you've got and you know what you're going to do. You know, but it's also learning to know what you have already, you know, and that's one of the things that we're going to get into. And I want to get into chat because there's been a lot of chat going on.
Because these people know what they're talking about. That's why.
Yes, they do. Now, Annie has said you just have to watch dumpster diving videos to see how much food gets thrown away by companies. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, over here.
Now, I do want to throw this out there real quick before I forget. Corporations are one of the biggest contributors to the food waste problem.
Okay, so there's two reasons for that. One main reason, actually. Because homeless people were jumping into the dumpsters and getting food out, one of them, and over here, this is the case, okay? Mm-hmm. One of them got severe food poisoning and sued the supermarket. Mm-hmm. That supermarket then started dumping de-icer in the dumpsters. Oh. People started getting poisoned, so then they got sued again, and that was put a stop to. So now what they're doing is they're putting padlocks on them. They have to put padlocks on them. Yeah. The only ones that don't do it, the only dumpster that they don't do that to is the bread one. And they allow people to take their fill of whatever bread is left in the supermarket that they're getting rid of.
Well, at least over there, you guys have an opportunity. Here, they don't allow, nobody is allowed legally, legitimately is allowed to do that.
Yeah. So, Grace and Fire, hello, Glenda, darling. How are you, sweetheart? I wanted to say hello before, but I was fighting back throwing up in my mouth. So, yeah.
Really? Did you have to go through that description?
What? I'm not going to lie.
Oh, no. In that case, please lie next time.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was trying to forego throwing up in his mouth. Anyway. You started it. Okay. So Glenda says, now I want to geek out and know what the ratio between the countries per population. UK is smaller, so I wonder how close it is to each other based on population. There's that. What I do know is that France has made it illegal for supermarkets to throw away food waste. It has to be given to a charity or given away.
And I don't see anything wrong with it. You're going to throw it in the dumpster. What does it matter?
Yeah. Seeker says, but surely much of the food waste in the US comes from the size of the portions that were served when peeps were out. Yeah, absolutely. Grace and Fire, Glenda says, making meals or composting it, growing local, all adds up. Mm-hmm. Seeker says no one can actually eat all of the meal. Yeah, I've looked at those meals and I've just gone, I would have to take a very large doggy bag. Probably in the size of an esky.
Right.
There's no way that I could do it. Annie says, in the last 2 days, I've purchased a heap of reduced price meat that would have ended up in the landfill. It went straight into the freezer. Exactly. You know, we do the same thing. We go around the reduced sections first of the supermarket, find what we can, and then go from there. Change does need to happen, hun. It really, really does. Yeah, so she said our small is your large, and it is. Yeah, that's the McDonald's medium fries. Your McDonald's medium fries are our small fries.
Yeah.
See, our small fries, the kids' fries, there's probably maybe 10 fries in it. If you like.
Yeah.
Glenda says the other thing I remembered, correct me if it's changed, you can easily buy half dozen eggs in England. Is that still correct, Lou? Here minimum is 12, but you can buy 18. Yes, we can get half dozen eggs. That is normal. And we can get 12s, 15s, and a tray of 32. I think it's 32. Yeah. Becca says, I worked in a restaurant many years ago. They wanted to donate all the leftovers from each day. The health department would have required them to purchase a refrigerator truck to drive a couple of miles. Yeah, well, there are actually charities in Australia that do this. There is actually one in Sydney. It's the same one in Sydney and Melbourne, and they drive around all the restaurants, pick up all their leftovers and scraps, and then they make meals to go out to people around the cities. And that's actually allowed. And they do have refrigerator trucks to do all of that. And that is something that they do. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but I have seen it there. Claire's in the house. Hello, Claire. You're not late, darling. You've arrived just when you meant to. Yeah. Yeah, and he says here in Perth, Australia, you can buy half a dozen eggs as well as a dozen or more. Yeah. So, Elaine's in the house. Hello. Dumpster diving is illegal here. Yeah, but it is possible. I'm just saying.
Okay. So I found something for you.
Yeah, Glenda says she keeps it real, and I appreciate it, Blue. I think. Claire says, let me just get to the end of this. We've only got 4 more, and then we're cool.
Are you
Claire
trying
says,
to tell me to hold my pants up?
Going to landfill. And to be honest, there's no bad or rotten things. I'm happy I can cook fresh produce from scratch. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, the France thing is really cool. And he says, saving money and helping the planet. Check me out. Yeah, exactly. Glenda says, years ago, grocery stores donated food to churches to disseminate.
Excuse me.
My grandfather was a pastor, and he'd pick it up. Then he'd open the door to anyone who wanted the food. Exactly.
Yep.
You know, but there's so many rules and restrictions and stuff now. And it's all to do with suing people.
Right.
It's all to do with suing people. Companies don't want to get sued. What have we got? Here we go. All right. What have we got here?
So this has a map. It is a, hold on, I'm trying to get rid of this crap here.
Mm-hmm.
It is waste per capita.
Wow.
So I'm going to, there. Now, that's the best image you're going to get from me, so you're going to have to deal with what it is, but there you go. Where are you guys at?
We're up here in the orange. Up in the orange.
Yeah, I know that now. I'm trying to look at what your color is. So per capita, you guys are worse than America.
Yeah.
Because you have smaller amount of people.
Yeah. Glenda's chuffed that you found this. This is a geeking out number she wanted.
So Nigeria is the worst in the world.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Russia is the best, or one of the best. Like Austria is as well, and that's Russia too. Slovenia might. No, it's a darker shade. So Russia and Austria are the best.
Yeah. Now think about why that is. Think about why that is. What do those two countries have in common?
Large populations.
They all cook from scratch.
I don't know anything about Russia. I'll be honest. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that so I can talk to you.
Okay.
Are you talking about the worst or the best?
The best.
Russia has McDonald's. Russia has
Yes.
XYZ.
So they are not seen as an everyday thing. They are seen as something that is a rarity.
Okay.
It's not even in the young kids. It's not seen as an everyday thing. And if anything, it's just it's where poor people go for a night out.
Right.
But that's like once every month or something. That's not like a weekly thing, you know, or twice weekly thing or 3 times a week or whatever, which is what a lot of the Western world does.
Right.
This is once a month, maybe once every 2 months, maybe it's someone's birthday kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, it's a completely different lifestyle.
So if anybody's interested in that information, I put the link in the chat so you can go access it.
Hello, Heather. Hello, darling.
Hello.
Milk and Honey Heritage Farms is in the house. Okay, so we might, so Helen says, if I dumpster dove, you know I would end up heads down, legs waving in the air, and you would just laugh at me. Honey, I would be in the same position in the dumpster next to you, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked at Nigeria being the worst. But I think there's reasons, and I think that it's looking into those reasons, you know.
Well, I think in all fairness, I mean, I could sit here and do my own analogy of everything, but I think, you know, part of the problem you have is that your land mass in comparison to your population size, in comparison to the number that you waste, that's going to vary. I mean, there's no way around those numbers, you know, but
that's absolutely right.
I mean, because Nigeria, I have to assume, has a larger population, and so in a smaller land mass, the odds are they're going to produce more waste than most are. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Nigeria theoretically is not, they are not a non-homemade based country.
No, but there is an extreme of distance between those who have and those who don't.
Right. Right.
Okay. So those who have are living quite a westernized lifestyle for the most part. Those who don't, which is probably the majority of the population, are living on the scraps.
Right.
Okay. And the way that they have lived in the villages and what have you for millennia. Okay. That's completely different. You won't find any food waste there at all. But where you'll find it is in the cities where people have been westernized and that they have money to spend on this stuff. So that's where you're going to find the food waste.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
so, yeah. And it sucks. It does. It really, really does. Okay. So, number one, we're not actually here to judge anyone. We're not here to judge anyone. We're here to educate people.
Earlier.
Hello.
Sorry. Mrs. Tony says hi. Back to Seeker.
So, yeah, we're not here to judge anybody. What we are here to do is to educate and to skill share and to, you know, just look at what we can be doing on a personal basis to actually reduce the amount of waste that we have on a personal level. Because let's be honest, we can't do anything about the supermarkets. We can't do anything
No.
about the woman down the road who spent £5,000 filling her house from floor to ceiling with food when lockdown occurred, and started fights in the middle of the supermarket. We can't do anything about them.
Well, and then the reality is you can bark and you can complain and you can go to your local politicians and do the best you can, but you can't do anything about the policies that are in place
either. You can't do anything about it, unless you get involved. And if you get involved, the chances are you won't get to do what you want to do anyway, because everybody else will stop you.
The best thing as it is now this is the only part of what I will say is political. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting involved does make a difference when there's a large enough number of you to do it, or the repetitious approaches that you do, so that you become so unbearable they don't want to deal with you anymore. They're going to, do something about it. Okay. But that being said, general sense, wake up every day, people do their own thing. You're stuck with what it is. So like you were just saying, it really comes back down to what can we do to make a difference one person at a time. And it ain't going to make a seismic wave, but it does make a difference. No. That's what I'm trying to say.
No. So.
And how do we do that, Blue?
How do we do that? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is over the next half hour, possibly a little bit longer. I don't know. It depends on how long we stretch, how long my voice.
You got me 17 minutes and I'm out of here.
No. Okay. Good. Fine.
Go ahead.
That's okay. You can do the talking then.
No, I'm good. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So what we have are a couple of ways. Actually, we have 10 ways from the University of Georgia on how to reduce food waste. And we have 20 ways from truefoodjuicebar.co.uk, which we are not sponsored or affiliated by. 20 ways to use up your pulp from your juicer. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was juicing and when I do juice, there is a lot of waste, fibrous waste that you kind of don't know what to do with, and they've got 20 different things to do with it. Now, we're not probably going to have time to go through all of them.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Read through your list, go through it, and see what chat wants to talk about.
Okay.
That way you've at least hit all 30 of those items.
Yes. But if you want the full list with all the instructions on them, you're going to have to go to Patreon and pick it up. Now, it's £2 at the moment to join Patreon per month, and you get all of the downloads of all of this entire series and all of my recipe cards and everything. That's where you'll find them, and you can pick up all of them, all the ones that are past, all the ones that are present. And I'm getting back on top of it and popping them out as fast as I can every single week. So you're probably having a good 10 a month in downloadable content from there. That I've actually been looking on places like Etsy, and people are selling them for like $5 to $10 a pop for a recipe card. So you're getting more than your value, but I don't want to put anyone into financial hardship to get that. And I do think that everybody should have that information. The only other people that will be able to get these workshop sheets will be on face-to-face workshops that I do around when I start doing those after I've recovered from surgery. So, yeah. So,
or you can invite a friend on to do a live with you, and he can totally ruin your intent and purpose behind everything,
It's fine. It's all cool. So, University of Georgia, their first one is compost. Well, yeah. Then we've got,
that's kind of an assumed, I would assume.
That's kind of what I think everybody in here, actually, the first thing they would think of is compost, right? That's the first thing. The second thing they've got is make beauty products.
Which shocked me. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think of that. Make more food. Add to plant soil.
Which is a very, very productive because you double your investment there.
Yes, you do. Utilize the aromas of fruit for the home. Make infusions. Regrow veggies. Use the very last of everything in a jar. Revamp current food and go crazy with herb leftovers or ends. So I'm like, yeah, they're pretty cool. That's yeah, it's not all about the fruit and veg though. And we kind of wanted to look at the fruit and veg. So I mean, like when it comes to compost for me, I want to use as much of what I can use that will go either on our shelves or in our bellies before I get to that point. Mm-hmm. And then what I do is like a lot of my offcuts and stuff get put into a stock bag in the freezer. When I have a gallon bag filled with scraps, that is then put in the stock pot to make stock.
Yeah.
Now, whether I chuck a chicken in there, whether I chuck any stock bones in there, whatever, but it gets made into stock. So, yeah, and then, and only then, does it end up as compost or some kind of pulp mix that goes into the compost itself.
Right.
So, yeah. So, truefoodjuicebar.co.uk, 20 tips for using leftover juice pulp. Make veggie burgers or meatballs with pulp. I never thought of that.
I didn't either.
Genius. It's actually genius because if you're doing carrots or beetroots and stuff like that, that's brilliant.
Right.
Blend into hummus, dips, and spreads.
That I kind of already assume to a degree. I mean, because I'm not looking at it from a point of pulp per se, but
yeah,
it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Add to oatmeal, yogurt, or smoothies.
And I had thought of this specifically with the fruit part of it.
Yeah. And like if it's smooth, well, to be honest, okay, so I've been watching this show called The 1940s House. Okay. And it was about a family that went into a house for 9 weeks. They had to live the way that they did during the war at different areas of the war, right. At different times during the World War II. They were actually using carrots for pretty much everything.
And I get it.
You know, carrot peels were chopped up really fine and chucked in muesli. Yep. Because they're sweet. Carrot cake was invented during the war. Okay, to help reduce the amount of fat, eggs, and milk that you needed in a cake, right. And sugar. Because it's sweet itself, you don't actually need to put a lot of sugar in it. And because they weren't allowed to have a lot of sugar, you know. Yes, Deborah, it does. Hey, how you doing, sweetheart? Juice pulp makes a good additive to feed your animals. It does.
Yes, it does.
So then we've got make pulp crackers or flatbreads.
Can I make one other comment just because of thinking about that? Yeah. We are in no way, and I'm assuming we agree on this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. We're not implying you're going to get the same nutritional value out of the start of a product to what you're going to get out of the end result pulp, because some of that nutritional value will be lost along the way. But it's better than throwing it away and not using the best and most out of it that you can. Right?
To be honest with you, okay, I'm going to put my dietitian and nutritionist head on here.
Okay.
You're actually going to get more nutritional value out of the pulp than you are the juice, because the juice is 90% water.
No. Okay. Let me rephrase what I'm saying.
And the rest is just like the flavoring and sugar. Basically, it's the sugars that have come out. Right. Whereas what you've got in the solids is the fiber and all the other nutritions in there as well.
Right.
So, yeah, it's 6 of one and half dozen the other, really. I prefer whole fruit and vegetable smoothies to juicing, but I know juicing, a lot of people want to do the juicing, you know.
Right. Yeah. I guess what I'm referring to, though, just so everybody's clear what my point was, if you've taken carrots and you have carrot tops or onion tops or celery tops, whatever it is, and you've used it to make a soup. So you've gotten the primary nutritional value out of that. Now you're taking the leftover and you've ran through and you've brothed those things. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to try to either put it in the plants or whatever you choose to do with it. That third step isn't necessarily the highest nutritional content value.
No.
It still is beneficial is what my point was.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it. Multiple hats. Thank you, Heather.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, make pulp crackers or flatbread. And they've included in there pulp pizza crusts. So add to whole wheat dough with herbs and cheese.
Just right.
Interesting. Bake pulp into muffins, breads, or cakes.
Can I step away for a minute, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got things like, obviously, the carrot cake we discussed. We've got zucchini bread or courgette bread. Beetroot or spinach muffins. Applesauce cakes and muffins using apple pulp. Banana bread enhanced with apple pulp fiber, all of that kind of stuff. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with those. Whip up. And number 6 is whip up veggie scraps, broth, or stock, which, you know, that's a given, and it really should be done. I mean, like, you know, it's one of the best things ever is just making your own stocks and stuff. They're just amazing, and you can use them for everything. 7 is compost pulp for gardening and houseplants. Absolutely. Now they've got several options like berry pulp directly into garden beds and borders, which you can do. The problem is that if you're in an urban environment, doing it that way can actually draw in vermin, like rats, mice, that kind of thing. So what I tend to do with mine is if I am going to use those, what I do is I turn it into a slurry and I will have a lid over it and it will ferment, and then it gets mixed through the compost. So there's no particular part of it. And the fermentation process of it adds all kinds of really good bacteria into the soil and makes the soil more alive. So I do it that way, and it doesn't actually bring in, you know, the things you don't want to be there. Okay, feed pulp to worms in vermicomposting. Now I have a couple of friends that do this. They've got worm farms. You know, that's an awesome idea. You know, that's a really great idea. If you've got a worm farm, give it to your worms. Mix into stuffing or meatloaf. That's a great one, actually. Can you imagine that, having like apple or pear or citrus in your stuffing? For, you know, whatever reason, whatever, that would be fantastic. Or even apple or celery, carrot in meatloaf, that would be lovely. Dehydrate into chips or seasoning powder, which I've done that. I have done that. That is awesome. I've made it into your seasoning powder and stuff like that. That's really cool. But yeah, freeze pulp into smoothie ice cubes. So all of the water liquid has been taken out, and you actually have the rest of the fiber and all the really good stuff in there. And you may only want that part of it to go into a smoothie because you've got all your other liquids and stuff, but you want to have that extra bit of nutritional bounce. So freezing those into cubes to put into the smoothie means that you're not adding more liquid to it, but you are adding more nutrients to it, and it's a really, really good idea. Okay, here's one. Hydrate skin with pulp face masks. Did you know that leftover fruit and veggie pulp contains antioxidants, vitamins, and hydrating properties that can nourish your skin? I have heard about this. There is one on here that hello. There is one here. Welcome back. that I would not suggest is a very good idea. And they have actually said to use beets or beetroot. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not the beet, not the one with the beets. Do not do it. Ask me how I know.
Are we talking about the face mask part?
The face mask one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I already got the image.
You get this lovely glow on your hands. Yeah, that will arrive on your face.
Oh, that's a mighty fine shade of rouge you have on your face.
It's a lovely color. And it won't come off for days.
Yeah.
And you have to scrub it.
But that does lead to another thought process, though, and I hope you haven't talked about it because I'm going to feel like an idiot if I repeat it, okay? Consider home dyes, though, with items.
Home dyes, absolutely home dyes. That's just a brilliant one. Yeah. Annie just says any veggies they're about to turn, whack them in slow cooker with some stock, cook it down, use it as immersions blender to make soup. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. Or any other side dishes.
Yep.
You know? Create homemade soaps and scrubs with pulp. So anyone who's a soap maker, it's a really good idea. Make DIY pulp paper or greetings cards. That's an interesting one because they're actually using the actual fiber. They're making use of that fiber.
Yes.
To make the paper with, which is awesome.
Yep.
That explains the neighbor's hair color.
Yep. Oh, go ahead.
It's not something that's unheard of. It's not something that's unheard of. And definitely during times of rationing in this country, it was very well known to happen, which is why women, when they had red hair, had very red hair.
But it was a different red hair. It was a different red.
It was a different red, but it came from the garden. It came from things that were in the garden. The same with women who were trying to get rid of their silver for brown, and colors like that. So, they made it out of what they had. And if what they had was a walnut tree, then they were rich.
Can you imagine the gossip Mrs. Olson would have had if Mrs. Ingalls showed up in magenta red hair one day to the general store?
Oh, no.
No, sorry. I just had to put it out there.
No.
And of course, Mrs. Olson would try it her own way, but she'd get it on her face and it would be stuck there for days. So
Mrs. Olson would probably end up using potato juice and blotching her hair and turning it into
well, she could do sweet potato and have an orange face.
Don't. That's terrible. When we hold black walnuts, our hands were stained for weeks. They would be. Yes. They would be. Yep. So like I'm saying, if you have a walnut tree, you would have been rich because that is not only a hair stain, but it's a wood stain. Clothing. And it's all kind of stain that, it's just amazing stuff. And
didn't they back in the day, didn't they stain leather with walnut husks, shells? That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So number 15, they've got craft pulp seed paper to plant in the garden. So it's a step up from doing the paper making from it, but you're actually sprinkling seeds into it as it's drying. So then you just rip that up and then you pop it in the ground and hope it grows. So Number 16 is feed excess pulp to pets, livestock, or wild birds.
Right.
Just be very careful what you're feeding cats and dogs, please. If I hear one more person has a vegan cat, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind.
A vegan cat?
Yeah. There is nothing crueler in the world than trying to force a cat to be vegan because you will kill it.
It
You
has
will
to
kill it.
have stuff in
Has
it.
to have meat. It has to have the nutrients it gains from meat. If you do not give it that, don't have a goddamn cat.
Can you
Period.
tell me how you feel? I'm not quite sure I understand.
Put it this way, I find out that anyone has a vegan cat, I will turn up on their doorstep and take their cat away.
Yes.
They may end up with a 2x4 to the left nostril, but
yeah. I have 2 cats. One cat she's so
the
old.
cat will definitely be removed.
She's so old she probably wouldn't mind one way or the other. I have another one who's less than a year old, and he's going to tell you he wants his meat, and if you don't give it to him, you're going to have scratches all over your body. Okay.
This is the issue that I have with people who have kibble, because a lot of the kibble is basically wheat.
Right.
Where in nature do cats eat wheat? Where do they bake biscuits?
Well, if they have sausage gravy, that would work, wouldn't it?
Do you know what I mean? No.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make fun here.
I know you're trying to make fun. I just get really cranky about it because I've actually been witness to it, and I've been witness to what people have done to their cats because of it. There's actually a guy who's around on TikTok and on Reels and stuff at the moment. He has a small kitten, and that kitten is pouncing on fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Okay. Now, the only reason that cat would be pouncing on fruit and vegetables is because he starved it until it's got no choice and it knows it can eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the only reason that animal is doing that. It's not because it absolutely loves it. It's because it knows it's got no choice.
Right.
You know, and, you know, it just boils my wee.
And suburban hillbillies, correct. Usually they're only eating grasses when they have stomach ache or the prevention of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Some cats like fish, some don't.
Mm-hmm. Mine loves it. Well, my young one loves it. My older one doesn't. So
yeah. See, my cat couldn't eat fish. Well, she would eat it, but it would go straight through her.
Right. Well, you got a lot of activity going on behind you today.
Who, me?
Yeah, the sirens.
Oh yeah, that's the road.
Okay. Sorry.
That's
go
the
ahead.
road.
I didn't want you to get bum rush while we're on live, you know.
No, it's fine. Yeah. My cat used to pounce on socks, but she never ate one. Exactly. Right. Okay. Add to homemade loofah or natural sponge.
Yep.
Okay. But this is talking about cotton pulp more than anything else for gentle exfoliation, which I think you'd get from a loofah anyway.
Yeah, I was going to ask, wouldn't you get that naturally from a loofah?
Yeah.
Hello, Brampton Gardner.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing, darling? So I suppose, so craft your own homemade loofahs and sponges for an eco-friendly, all-natural way to reuse pulp fiber. I suppose you could, like, if you didn't have the loofah or the sponge, you would use that fiber in the soap.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of how it would work. I mean, because you would have to wash the fiber out to start with. The fiber would have to be washed out thoroughly, so that you had the fiber pulp, the pulp fiber left, right? So the only thing that I can think of is that you would use it like a cotton fiber and make your own sponge with it.
Yeah.
And then maybe pour your soap around it, and then you'd have like a exfoliating soap.
I think I would just, me personally, I think I would just do a loofah if I was going to go that way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, you know, some people want to do.
Yeah.
Cotton fiber sounds like a good way to clog a train. Maybe I'm too practical. Absolutely. Yep. Loofahs are very rough. Do not use on sunburn. Don't ask. No, I wouldn't be doing it on Michelle. No. What? Some crochet wool around soap. Yes, and I have made felt around soap.
Right.
as well. So, yes, Michelle made it with felted wool. Yes, that's because I do felt. So, yeah. Right. So the next is mix into Play-Doh or modeling clay for kids.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so that's for color.
Yes.
For color. I get where they're going with that. That's for color. All right, I get it. It's for color. Okay, number 19 is fertilize houseplants by working into soil. Absolutely.
Yep.
And the last one says make nutrient-rich juice pulp tea.
Okay, that was another one that shocked me. I didn't even think about that. Never even crossed my mind.
No, because it didn't cross my mind. And I'm thinking, actually, after reading that, a bit of apple and mint tea would be quite nice some days,
Can I add a few more to your list?
Yeah.
Okay. You can make fruit vinegar or cleaning supplies.
Yes.
You can do fruit scrap syrups.
Yes.
Okay. Depending on the type of fruit, you can use it as a source of starch, pectin, or cellulose that can be used in baking or for the generation of bioethanol if you need it or want it.
Yeah.
Okay. Orange peels orange and citrus peels can be used to make candy or a sweet syrup, which we already talked about the syrup.
Yep.
Grapefruit rinds can be used to make a fiber-rich tea.
Yes.
Okay. Banana peels can be used to give your shoes an extra shine.
Wow.
Did not know that one, did you?
Did you not? No.
Ginger peel can be used in tea and broth as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget that your potato peels can be used for a poor man's French fry.
Yes, and don't chuck them straight into your compost.
No, that was the.
Do not do that. They will grow. If they have eyes on them, they will grow. If you do not believe me, go and watch Tony's video on this on Simplified Gardening. He put potato peels in his compost and ended up with an extra 75 kilos of potatoes.
Right. Yeah. So many people I've heard of doing that with tomatoes and potatoes and other sweet potatoes. I've heard of green beans from some people. They'll throw it in their compost and it's active and it actually produces fruit and vegetable right there in their compost.
It's terrifying because it's like, whoa, freebies, but
yes.
I mean, his whole face, you could tell it was like, wow, where are these coming from?
I know Blue has this to some degree. I know I have it. I know that there's a few of us that have done this. Over on my channel, I have a citrus cleaner you can make. Yes. I know, Blue, you do that as well. But
I have a lot, actually. Annie, give me a second.
I'll go ahead and go through my list while you're looking that up, the rest of it. So you should try apple peel jam. That's good, which you don't need pectin with it because it will have all natural pectin.
Yeah.
Watermelon rind can be turned into sweet and spicy pickles.
Yes.
And we've already talked about how you can boost your garden, so that I'm not going to repeat. We'll talk about the bread later. I'm not even going to go down that road.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my playlist that has got a lot of that kind of stuff in it. All right. So in there, you've got the cleaning vinegars, you've got washing liquids, you've got there's washing liquid and fabric softener, and there's a lot of make it yourself kind of stuff in there. So yeah, that's that one.
Yep.
There is more coming. So be aware of that. So yeah, there are some stuff there. There is some stuff there. So yeah.
I think I'll talk a little bit about this tonight on my live tonight, but I think I was gonna do a Instapot slow cooker series and whatnot. I think I'm gonna back out of it, and I'll tell you why. Because I've had a lot of people ask me, "How do you make homemade gravy powder? How do you make homemade this powder? How do you?" And so I'm thinking maybe I'll do like that because I'm getting asked about it. So why not put that out? So
yeah. Microwave or oven, heat lemons in dish of water, let sit for 30-minute, wipe down, pour the liquid in bottle for cleaning services. Absolutely.
Good idea.
Yeah. That works. That works. Absolutely, it works.
We did a citrus cleaner, vinegar cleaner, and it is the stinkiest thing in the world, but it cleans better than anything we've ever bought.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, people go, "Oh, yeah, but vinegar, won't it smell like a chip shop?"
right.
Well, until it's evaporated. Once it's evaporated, you don't have any of that smell.
You don't have that issue, yeah.
You don't have that issue. It's not a big deal. So,
right.
It's not a thing.
Quit being a snowflake.
So yeah, there's some ideas of what you can do, but I mean, like, I personally, some of my ideas were making soups and stocks and preserving them. So preserving your wonky, your stuff that's about to go off, but it's not gone.
Right.
Okay. I don't know how many of you have been around since about 3 years ago, and I did a series on when I was preserving mangoes. And I had all these peels and I didn't want to chuck them out.
Mm-hmm.
And I did actual videos on how to make a cake and a tea, how to dehydrate them for mango sticks, like mango crisps.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one that I used. I made a curry and I made a jam out of mango peels. So if you guys want to go and watch that, that's somewhere as well. I can't remember where I put that, but that's probably under Waste Not, Want Not. I will be doing some other series on different things that you don't think to cook with that you could.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest ones that I know about is banana skins. Now, I was always told as a kid they were poisonous. They're not.
Yeah, I was told that too.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, I was shown that they weren't when I worked in Vietnam, and we were actually pan frying them with spices and stuff. We'd shredded them very, very thin, and were tossing them in a little bit of oil, and they were turning into like these really crispy, chippy things, and they were awesome.
Wow,
they were great. I mean, some people are even using them as a plant-based bacon. Apparently it's possible to do that with them, and it does come out quite well, apparently. I don't know. I haven't tried that myself, but it is something that I will be trying at some point. Teresa is allergic to bananas.
Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, darling. Oh, no clue that bananas have latex in them. So, hang on a second. So are you allergic to the banana or are you allergic to the latex?
I was going to ask the same thing.
I'm very curious to hear the answer to this.
I am too.
Are you actually allergic to latex, or is it the ingredient in bananas? Because if that's the case, if you ever come over here, do not eat Angel Delight because it has latex in it. A form of latex. People who are allergic to latex cannot eat Angel Delight, which is one of those powdered add milk instant pudding thingies.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the one that Tanny likes to have for his Christmas trifle.
Oh.
And I only ever buy it for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally can't stomach it myself.
Latex and bananas.
Yeah. So no Angel Delight for you.
No.
We'll make you some from scratch, darling. It's okay. We'll make you a decent mousse rather than, that crap. You don't need that in your life. Okay. So next week, what are we doing next week?
Oh, I thought we'd do dairy next week since you rotated everything around.
Next week we're doing meal planning. Okay, so we're going to be doing meal planning that is based around waste. Now, I actually have a couple of videos on this, and if you guys have had a look, you know, I do have a couple of videos where I am literally emptying out my fridge, only using what's in the fridge, and that is what we have to eat for the next 2 weeks, right? So, you know, I do have some videos on that already. Teresa's also allergic to milk. Allergic, not intolerant.
I feel so sorry for you. Wow.
I know a little boy who was so allergic to it that even if someone had been eating cheese and onion flavored crisps in the same room as him and accidentally touched him, we would have to have an EpiPen on him.
I am so glad I am not that allergic to anything. That would, yeah.
We had to be very careful with him. And in a room full of kids that are doing drama.
Like the class drama.
Oh no, like amateur dramatics, panto at the end of the year kind of stuff.
That's what I was referring to. Same thing.
So then we had to get the adults on board as well, just to protect this little kid. But he couldn't wear the same kind of costume as everybody else, just in case someone had
touched it,
something on them where they'd been eating or touching dairy. So he had to have long sleeves the whole time. So yeah, bless him. But yeah, so I get it, darling. So next week we are doing meal planning. We will be basing that around food waste. So come and share your best, recipes. Come and share them. Share them with us. And we will share ours with you. Okay.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to them? Are you talking to all of us?
I'm talking to all of you. Damn it. I'm not sitting here on my own.
Oh, that's the kind of day you're going to have, huh?
Yes, I've already had that kind of day.
I know.
Thank you. Wow. Friend whose kid was anaphylactic to 13 different foods. It was crazy. Yeah, wow, that sounds like there's something tomorrow morning. Well, it is tomorrow morning for me. It's like for you guys over on Tony's channel.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. It's 4 a.m. for us over here. Yeah, 4 a.m. What time is it for you, Tony?
Oh, it would be 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. I'm so sorry for you, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll get the world's smallest violin and start playing it for myself, shall I?
Yeah, do that. And I'll play it for you when you come on in the morning.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. All right.
Have a great day, my friend.
You too. Okay. And we will see you guys later on. Have a really awesome rest of your day. And we is out. Bye.